Draymond, Steve felt that was the team's best defensive outing so far, and doing things well on both ends from full game. How do you assess how that went?
I think we were pretty good defensively. In that first half, I think our energy just wasn't there, and so although you're getting stops and scoring, we're not in a rut, but we just don't feel like we're playing to the level that we're capable of, and mentally that can be a drag. And so I feel like guys in that first half were just feeling sorry for themselves, all of us. And, so they score a basket, it's worse than it seems, And I think in the second half, we cleaned that up with our body language, our demeanor. And although everything didn't go right, we stayed the course. And that second unit brought great energy. J-Mych was incredible. And we were able to continue to keep it rolling. So I thought it was a pretty good defensive game for us, and saying that we can continue to get better.
Dre, I know you're more worried about how you guys are playing collectively, but Steve Kerr has made it a point the past couple of games to say how well he thinks you are playing individually in the early going. You've always been very honest with your performance and evaluating yourself. How do you think you've been playing early on, and where do you think you're at?
I think I'm playing pretty well. Just trying to be more aggressive. Had some turnovers tonight I could take back. And now I think it's adding that fire onto the play. It's coming around, but overall I think I'm playing pretty good basketball, but, still rounding in the form. And like I said earlier, just expecting to have a big year.
I've seen teams try a lot of interesting stuff to slow you guys down. I don't think I recall them putting their point guard on you before like they did today with Kyle Lowry. What did you make of that, and how did y'all try to attack it?
I've seen it before. We just play. It's not trying to necessarily single it out or make something of it. We're going to play our game. I think when teams do stuff like that, they're doing it so you go away from what's naturally comfortable. Not necessarily that's going to stop what we do, but more so just want you to go away from it. So I think for me and for us, it's just continuing to do what we do regardless of what the matchups are. And there are ways to take advantage of things like that. And I think, late down the stretch I did, took advantage of one of those ways that you can take advantage of a team doing that.
4-point game when you and Clay and Steph re-entered in the fourth quarter. 3 minutes later, it's a double-digit lead. You've played with Steph all these years, but can you go back and did you get a chance to look at what he did to Tyler Hero on that 3-point shot that gave you guys? What were your thoughts on that particular play?
Shit, he almost fell. No, it was a great move though. It was a great move. Got to the spot that he wanted. Once he got Tyler to open his back leg up, he was kind of dead at that point. But Steph is incredible, and he's playing great to start this year off, which is expected. But as I've said before, he continues to improve, which is scary. That guy continues to get better, so it's pretty interesting and fun to watch.
How do you think he does that?
Shit, I wish I had the answer. He works though. I don't think it's any secret. He's put the work in on the court. He's put the work in the weight room. And, he's one of the more special talents we've seen come through this league.
So he practiced day one this year. Was he looking does he just arrive at camp at this point looking like that?
Yeah. For the most part, he does.
Can we go back to J-Mych for a second? He might not be getting headlines right now, but what is he doing that has impressed you?
I think the energy that he brings is great. The way he's crashing offensive boards, mixing things up on the defensive end, muddying things up, I thought it's been absolutely incredible. Just the demeanor that he brings to the floor, the toughness that he brings is great. And in saying that, I don't think offensively we have found him shots yet. And we know how capable he is of stretching the floor, and we haven't even done a good job of finding that yet. And so for him to still be having the impact that he's having is huge, because as we continue to settle in our offense and find the rhythm on that side of the ball, he's going to get more open shots. And, when he get those open looks, we know he can and will knock them down. So I don't even think we've been able to really see that part of his game yet. And that's encouraging, taking into account the impact that he's already having.
Wiseman's now set as that backup center. He's going to get minutes, at least, one stint every half. How important is it that he keeps steady, and how important does that ripple kind of through everything else? If he's going to be okay, doesn't struggle, obviously, how much steadier is the whole team?
Very steady, because Wise brings something that no one else on our teams bring. That combination of size, athleticism, and skill, no one else has that. And so for him to stay steady and continue growing the way he's growing is incredible. It's going to be huge for this team. He is a key part of that second unit, and in his screen and dives and having that lob threat at the rim. He's been finishing with great touch, and when he catches the ball in the paint. And defensively, he's continuing to get better and learning how to use his size. And I think that's important. And it's, I have no doubt in my mind that he will continue to get better as he continues to show. But he is a key part of what we do. And it's not only important that he stays steady, but it's important that he continues to grow. I don't really care how steady he stays. Kids, 22, 23 years old, who cares how steady he is? I care about the growth that we see from him, and he's showing that and continuing to do that. So for me personally, I think that's more important for him than focusing on being steady. Like, no, you go out there and you do all you can to reach your potential, not come in and be a steady piece of the rotation. If he's doing that, he's selling himself short, and I don't condone that. So he got to chase after what he's been chasing after. I think that's way more important.
Draymond, you were talking earlier about Steph's ability and sort of how he started the season. I'm curious your thoughts on kind of his decision-making too. It seemed like tonight there were times where he was clearly looking for Klay to get Klay going. And then because he could obviously take over whenever he wants, but he also knows when to look for his shot the way he did in the fourth. I'm curious your thoughts on that.
I think it's huge. I think that's another area of growth for him, is just identifying what's going on in the game and making a conscious effort to get whatever it is that he wants for whoever that could be, whether that's for him, whether that's for me, whether that's for Klay, Jordan, whoever it is. I think that's been another huge step in his game, is just identifying those things. And like you said, he made it a point to go to Klay, and Klay's knocked down some huge shots for us. So that's great. Obviously, we know how important Klay is, and to get him going, it unlocks an entirely different part of this team that makes us unstoppable. So it's important. We all know it, and Steph definitely made a conscious effort to do that tonight.
Hey, Draymond, Steve was emphasizing the importance of a win tonight before a 5-game road trip. Just want to know your thoughts on that with past experience, and also kind of how big the first big road trip can be for the young guys, the new guys, the rookies.
We call it the getaway game. You always want to get that getaway game before going on a long road trip, just so you're walking into someone else's arena feeling good about yourself and with something to build on. I think tonight was definitely something that we can build on. First road trip of the year for the young guys. Number one is just life on the road in the NBA, which is totally different than being at home. So I look forward to them having that experience. And also just getting settled in. You're figuring out how things goes. It's cool, cool experience. And, we got a pretty good road trip ahead of us. It should be a good road trip for us. So it's definitely great to get this game before we head out. And now we can head out, with our heads held high and looking to build on what we did tonight.
One more question on the Steph improvement topic. With all that you've described, it's hard to imagine a guy 33, 34 improving physically, and yet you talked about that. You also talked about the mental aspect of it. Where do you see the most growth in what Steph is doing now or over the last year? Is it Is it physical? Is it mental? Where do you see it?
I think it's both. I think it's in confidence. Steph used to have irrational confidence. He doesn't quite have irrational confidence anymore. He has an earned confidence that we all know and expect. You know, the things that he's and the confidence level that he has, we actually, all of us expect him to do exactly what that confidence level is leading him to. And I think, you know, when you've reached that level and you're kind of at the pinnacle of what you do, it takes a special person to want to continue to improve. And, you know, he's continuing to show that, you know, like I said, mentally and physically, they both go hand in hand. You kill the mind, the body dies. And, you know, his mental continues to get stronger. Physically, he continues to improve. And it's been showing in this game.
Can you define the irrational? Like
irrational, just the belief that sometimes, who knows if it's warranted, but you feel like it is. And yet, any shot he takes now is warranted. And I don't think there's a shot that Steph Curry takes and anybody say, he can't make that, or that wasn't a good shot. Like, you say it wasn't a good shot if he misses, but yet you know he can make it. And so I don't know, man. He is special. And, you know, we get the opportunity to see that on a daily basis, come out here and play alongside that guy, but he is one special player for sure.
Dre, how do you think Jordan has handled that delicate balance between hunting his own shot and trying to create for others in that second unit?
I think he's figuring it out. You know, that is it's a different role. You know, when you're, you know, majority of last year for him was just kind of scoring. You know, and because he's such a good playmaker, he can still make plays. This year, he's expected to get everyone else involved while scoring, and that takes some time. That takes some time to adjust. You add in that you're adjusting to that with pretty much a totally different group than you've played with before, and you add all those things into the situation, and then you take a step back and look at it. Most people would kind of have a period of where they're figuring it out. And saying that, I think he's still having a great impact. But I think it's going to take him some time to figure that out. But I think he's handling it well. And that can bother you emotionally as well, you know, and mentally. And so I think, you know, and going through all of that, it's a day-by-day thing, and you continue to try to figure it out, but I think he's handling it well and doing a pretty good job.